So I think this is probably the most appropriate place to enter. It's our newest building. We have our Children's Emergency Department here. This is also where our MICU is, as well as our Women's Center. I like to show this entrance because it shows the investment that the hospital's made into the community and to GME throughout most of the year. But as we start coming down here, we see kind of the new GME areas and the money that the hospital's put in since this started in 2018. A lot of this is possible because of the generosity of the people in Lakeland. I think this showcases that nicely too. And this is one of the families that I was discussing who's been very generous with Lakeland Regional Hospital. This is the Mulaney Atrium and a big kind of education, convention type center. This was built a long time ago, actually, well before we had GME. So in 2018, construction began in this area. And it kind of shows you this isn't something that was put together kind of last minute. This is something that was well thought out. This is Mulaney Auditorium. This is where we will eventually have our M&Ms and big conferences. As of right now, we're a first-year program, so we don't use all this space. Now, the hospital does for other functions, but we won't need all this space long-term. But you can see the resources that have gone into this facility. Screens fall down from the ceiling. The multimedia abilities of this auditorium are state-of-the-art. This partition here goes up to almost double the size. And where we're having M&M now is actually in one of the smaller portions here, which we'll show you in a second. Where we're currently having M&M and didactics for surgery. Once again, the multimedia aspects of this are kind of state-of-the-art, but you can see it's much smaller. Once again, that partition goes up to double the size. This partition goes up to go to the main auditorium, which you saw before. So it'll move and flex as we need it to for the needs of our didactics in our program as well as the hospital. So this is our brand new GME area. As you can see, a lot of resources and money have been dedicated to it. And this is kind of the final step towards just graduating to the next level. Back here, which you'll see a little bit later, are our resident areas. Those are just for residents. That's not something that is shared by the rest of the staff. That's just dedicated to the residents and their wellness. You've seen the outdoor facilities, the new landscaping that's been put in, the exercise rooms, the sleep rooms, which all have their own TVs, workspaces, bathrooms, locker areas, copy rooms, as well as multiple classrooms. And this is brand new. It's all just been opened, but something we're very proud of. Program director, program administrator, APDs, cardiology, OBGYN. The reason I bring this up and what makes it a little bit different is if you'll notice, psychiatry office is right here, but this is my office. This is general surgery. Next to me is emergency medicine. This is my APD here. What makes this unique is everywhere I worked, I had no idea where the program director for internal medicine or ER worked or where the DIO's office is. We literally collaborate on a daily basis. So if I have an issue for something I didn't like how something was disposed for the emergency room to the surgical service, I literally go next door and talk to Dr. Barbera. If we want to start an initiative for primary care, I talk to Dr. McCann in family practice or Dr. Lugo in internal medicine. We actually really are friends here, but have all been hired with the same vision of what it means to take care of patients. So I know it's kind of weird to walk through offices, but how this is set up for the mission of what we're trying to accomplish, I think is important. I think it's important to point out. I like to tell the story. When I first started working here, I was looking for somewhere to eat that was pretty good on Yelp. So one of the higher rated places was the Parkview Cafe. And I kept walking around the hospital and it kept telling me I was close. And then I walked by the sign and realized that we were highly rated on Yelp for our own cafeteria. Say hi to Dr. Regan here, CMO and president of the hospital. It's not like where I worked previously. Actually sit and get to talk with the CMO and president of the hospital on a frequent basis. Places that before, that was something that was a rare occurrence, but Dr. Regan really does care how GME is progressing, as does the rest of the C-suite, which I think is something that's pretty special. So we're on the 7th floor in the B wing. This is our main surgery floor. Has a nice view. You kind of get an idea of Lakeland. This is the more rural aspect. You'll see more of that on some other areas we'll visit in the hospital, but you kind of get an idea of how pretty Lakeland is and its kind of outdoor environment and what you get here in Lakeland. This floor in particular, as mentioned, is the surgery floor. And on that theme of all the money that the hospital's invested in GME, we actually have workspace, and this is just for the surgery residents. So this isn't shared with the other programs we have, but this is just the LRH General Surgery workroom. And you can tell, has plenty of workspace. As you can see, it's already home just to our residents who take advantage of this workspace, but it's also somewhere where you can work, but you're not far away from the actual patients that we take care of. And most of the rooms here at LRH are actually private rooms. Only the corners are shared two-people rooms, and those are for people with short stays or they're waiting for disposition to the private rooms. The visitation policy is very lenient. They encourage families to be here, and there's a lot of thought that's gone into how this is arranged both for patients and the resident staff. We're coming to the OR area. This is the physician's lounge. So this is where the attendings, both anesthesia, surgery, and the residents all have access to. So stocked with food. Most importantly, there's workspaces in there where you can do your dictation, write your orders, get patients ready post-operatively. And this is the OR area. This is the main OR. So we're in the middle of the main OR. That's 16 rooms here on this side. We'll walk by the trauma area in a second. But this is the board, multiple pages that you scroll through. This is where we schedule all of our operations. This is one of two major hallways. Everyone from urology to orthopedics to general surgery to surgical oncology, even some OBGYNs done in these main ORs. The back area back here is actually where our three ORs are with the operating robot, the Da Vinci. We have the most recent one, the XI. And rooms 11, 12, and then 14 on the other side are our robot rooms. 12 is the one that's not occupied. I'd like to point out how large our operating rooms are here. That's unusual from the places that I've worked with in the past. But you can see the massive size in the workspace. So we have the Da Vinci robot here. We have the robot console, and usually in this room we actually have the tethered console as well for our residents to work with and be walked through. We actually just bought our fourth. The purchase order's in, so we'll have two teaching consoles. It comes with a full simulation setup as well. So this is one of our hybrid rooms. As you can see, all the equipment that you would expect with that. The control room, this is where the endovascular procedures combined with the trauma procedures go. So kind of next level, state-of-the-art type operating room. And this is tandem right next to the one that's next door. So in coming from the trauma ORs, this is exactly where we're at the hybrid ORs. We're coming out to the main elevator here to kind of show you where everything is. To our left here, this is the trauma ICU. Over here to the right, this is the elevator that leads both to the helipad as well as the ER. So this is our helipad. I think it gives you a pretty good idea of what the rural part of Lakeland looks like. The more urban area is actually on this side of the building, but you get an idea of why it's called Lakeland. You got lakes, you got the outdoors, but we're a level 2 trauma center, so this helipad actually gets a lot of use. We're in the elevator coming down from the helipad, and we're coming down to our trauma bay. And I'm going to kind of show you the proximity to the elevator to the trauma bay here. So our trauma bay is right here. As I'm sure most of you have heard, Lakeland Regional is the second busiest ER in the entire country. I didn't believe it when they interviewed me, so I had to look it up, but feel free to Google it. Lakeland Regional Hospital is the second busiest ER in the entire country. The trauma bay has everything you need and what you'd expect. So you see the MTP cooler, fast machine is over here, the level 1, and all the supplies you need. The staff is specially trained. So we have trauma RNs here that do traumas, and that's all they do, and that's what they do. So you get kind of really, really high quality care. As a level 2 trauma center, we would probably be level 1 within the next couple years. But once again, with the volume and the acuity and the pathology you see here, your training is about the best you're going to find.